Hey y'all, I'm already back. It's still Sunday, but I figured why not shoot another video. I'm doing a load of laundry and I'm kind of bored. So I was gonna play in some old makeup and talk, because I don't know if I really like the whole me sitting still and talking. I don't know if I've mastered that yet. I'm using this old palette. Remember the Soph Revolutionary palette? It's an old but a goodie. And I wanted to talk about this whole thing that I've been seeing on the internet about femininity and high value men and all this stuff. So when I first lost the weight, I told myself I would not allow myself to date until I had lost a significant amount of weight, because, and this is not going to sound great, but I know that it's easier to date at a smaller size than it is to date as a plus size woman. It's just what I believed at the time. It's not necessarily true, but some of it is true. And I think plus size and smaller women and formerly plus size women would probably agree with me that it is probably a little bit easier to date when you are of a smaller size. Straight size, I guess is the proper term. So I was like, I'm not gonna date until I get small. I was like 90 pounds down. My goal was to be 150 pounds lower. Like I was gonna be, like the total goal was 150 pounds. Total now, I've only made it to like 120 pounds weight loss. But at the time, it was only 90 pounds weight loss. Still very small. I think I was probably like a size 14 and I'm a size 12 and I still lose weight. My body composition, like I lose weight, but my body stays kind of the same size. My body stays, so whatever. Anyway, I decided I was gonna allow myself to date. So I went online and I started dating, and I got into this place on YouTube about femininity and how Black women really aren't feminine, and here are some tips to be more feminine. And I was kind of looking at myself and I was like, yeah, you could be a bit masculine at times. I cared about my appearance, but I guess I presented masculine in my personality traits, mannerisms and stuff. So I decided to adopt this like damsel in distress attitude. And I was like, any man that wants to talk to me has to pay, okay? I wasn't a sugar baby and I wasn't a prostitute, but I was like, that is just what it's gonna be. We were told that is what all like white women and women of other cultures are doing to live happy, successful family lives. And I was like, if that's what I want, then that's like what it's gonna be. It doesn't sound crazy, but you can see how it sounds a little unhinged, right? Considering I didn't even have a boyfriend. I had never had a boyfriend at that time. So I had adopted that personality, and I would make like, so embarrassing. I would make like my dating like profile be like sweet, kind, generous. Because that's what the girls are teaching me about how to find the word wasn't high value at the time. What was it? A provider man. Yes, that was the word. I was like, say less. And you would get men who responded. And then I got into a relationship, and I would just be transparent. I didn't know what the hell I was doing in a relationship. Like, the relationship ended because of a lot of things and things that I ended the relationship. But looking back, I definitely didn't help the relationship because I was trying to take advantage of this guy. Like, I liked him, but we just were not compatible. We weren't going to be compatible at all, like, outside of the money thing. But, yeah, I just figured, like, he should be paying for all the dates, which he did. You know, I would do stuff too. Like if he came over, I would cook or something like that or whatever. I got really offended one day because I wanted him to buy me a table. What the hell? Like, I wanted him to buy me a table for my living room. He was like, no, I don't have a lot of money. And I was like, and? Again, because I'm trying to find a provider man, and what I want, I get, right? So freaking stupid. So yeah, I went into that situation like that, and I just looked up, and I just was not being fulfilled emotionally in that relationship because I didn't make it a priority to be emotionally fulfilled in a relationship because I did not know anything about it. Everything back then, when I say back then, like a year or two ago, 2 years ago, was about getting money. It was not about men having feelings for you having feelings for a man. It was about finding a man that was nice enough and that paid for everything. Sorry, my little mini washer dryer is going off. Okay, we're good. So that was that case. And when the relationship ended, I had the chance to reflect on all of the stupid stuff that I just told y'all about. I was just so embarrassed, number one, because it's just like, I'm like looking back, I'm like, girl, you sound crazy as hell. I get it. Like, I get it. But I give you that preface because I just don't know what I want now. Every other woman's like, you need to get a man that has money and be able to provide for your family. I live in New York City. This is not the city to be poor in, unfortunately. They do not like the poor people here, okay? You need to be, and what would be lower middle class, I mean, is upper class to some people. So I kind of was like, well, I guess that's, only way to go about things. And now everyone's like, men took that and kind of made it something, and they were like, oh, if you want a guy that's going to provide, you need to look like this and look like that, and you got to be skinny and all this stuff, and you have to be super sexual and just all this crazy. It was just crazy. It's just a mess. It's just a mess. Whatever this movement is called. And then it was like this high value versus low value man or woman. That got crazy. And then now I'm on TikTok, and a lot of people were talking about like financial abuse, which I've never been taught about financial abuse in that world or in my real life. Like, I've never been, I was never taught anything about relationships. Like, I just witnessed relationships growing up. No one ever like sat me down and told me how to cultivate a healthy relationship. What are red flags? What are things you're not supposed to do in a relationship? What is the difference between dating, boyfriend, husband, father, blah, 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 blah. No one said anything. I just sat and watched and hopefully figured it out, which I did not, clearly. So yeah, I was just like, I don't really know what the hell is going on. And they're talking about financial abuse now. So now everyone's like, okay, financial abuse is super real. And there's a lot of like stay-at-home mothers. I used to think I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. Now I'm like, I wouldn't mind staying at home, but like with children, that doesn't sound like a vacation to me. And every day on my TikTok and my YouTube, there's women that are like, if you want a man, like, you can manifest someone to sponsor your life, and he's amazing, and he will take you on trips, and everything will be perfectly fine. And any woman that tells you you can't have that is a hating bitch, is essentially what people are trying to say to me. And I was like, okay, I was like, okay, all right. And I like love that life for those girls. I'm like, you get paid to be pretty and just hang out with somebody? Like, I think that's cool. I myself personally cannot do that. I just can't. And now they're talking about financial abuse and how a lot of women who have been stay-at-home mothers for 10, 20 years are really struggling in this economy, because marriages fail sometimes, things happen, people die, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, now be independent. But I was just told being independent was ghetto. I don't know what I want. I feel like, and I'm always like making up these like imaginary scenarios. I'm so single. I'm like making up imaginary scenarios in my life about like, okay, if I ever meet a man, because they're like, when you get into a relationship, you need to set these standards early. I was like, okay. So I'm like, what exactly am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to, like, what is the balance here? Everyone's like, okay, take his money, have your own money on the side. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess, but these men don't have no money. Like, I don't know where y'all are dating, but I don't like, they work, but I don't meet a lot of men that have, I don't know where all these, I meet men with a lot of money, like, because of where I work, like my job and stuff. But these men don't have money like that. So I'm like, who's telling these girls that there's just like hella money to be, spared across the nation? So I don't know. It's just a very confusing topic. I'm very curious about women who like live comfortably, whether it be because of their spouse or themselves. Did you give up your career for love? Did you know that you would be financially taken care of before you decided to date and procreate with your person? I'm just very curious because I like real life examples. And I just feel like a lot of times people are speaking for people without understanding. I don't want to be judgmental because I honestly don't know. Like, working until the day I retire doesn't sound cute to me. Sorry, doesn't sound hot. Okay, like I think we're all sick and tired of working. What are we doing, Shy, with this look? So I get that too. I'm like, listen, someone, wanted to pull up in here and try to pay some bills. I'm not gonna tell him no. Okay? But at the same time, I'm not trying to be disrespected because I will go to jail. I also was taught like, oh, if you have money, if you're a successful woman, like people were telling Black women like your degrees are masculine and having a job is masculine. And I'm like, okay. And then they're like, oh, and this was not just Black men. I'm not trying to make this like a gender war, but I feel like other women of other like cultures can like, you get what I'm saying though, right? Like you hear what people are saying about like, oh, a woman's money doesn't matter. You know, money doesn't keep you warm at night. Your degree doesn't keep you warm at night. I don't know about you, but this place that I stay in is from a degree. So technically it does keep me warm at night. So now we're insulting women who are deciding to get educations into chase money. But it's like, what are y'all supposed to do? Like, what are we supposed to do in this economy? We can't just all sit back and, you know, be pretty and model. We have to work. Like working is important, and if while I'm working I figure out other ways to make a higher income, then that's just what it's gonna be. Let me check on this. Hold on. Okay, sorry, I was like, what the hell's going on? All right, my washer is so loud, but I'm like, we have to work, we have to support ourselves. If you're a single parent, you know, like there's no time for all of these games. And that's what I feel like we're in, one big game. It's just a big old game. Like, there's no logic behind anything. There's no right way to do it. You know, I think a lot of us witnessed our grandparents with this more traditional kind of marriage, and things either worked or they didn't. You know, I definitely will say I'm not with the build-a-bum type of stuff. Like, I can't even think of giving a man money. Maybe my little brother, but like, that's just gonna be a no over here. So, I don't know about all that. I don't know. I just find I see this topic all the time, and it's very confusing, and I feel like people are just changing the goalposts every single day. I'm just curious what everyone else thinks. I'm like, does anyone else see the weirdness that is going on? Because I see it. I don't know why I'm being so precise with this makeup. Like, no, I'm not even going anywhere. Look like I have pink eyes. So. Sorry, cut off again. Yeah. I don't know. I'm over money. I'm over talking about money. I'm over hearing about money. I'm over it. Oh gosh. Everything is about money, which I get. I mean, it's America, whatever. Like, I'm not like this crazy money shouldn't exist, you know, thing. Like, I get it. But it's just money and relationships. I'm like, we are doomed. We are doomed. I don't know. Have you ever been like a sugar baby or had a very like hypergamous relationship? And how did that work out for you? Like, did you like it? Was there like different times? I'm very curious about like the financial abuse side of it. And like, is there like a different type of power dynamic? Like, you know, I think a lot of women who work assume that women who are being taken care of are, you know, being mistreated, but I know that's not always the case. Like, just the simple money dynamics in relationships make me very curious. Like, even down to like, say you get married, like, when do you talk about like merging bank accounts? Like, I feel like a good balance would be for me, like, if I get married, I'm like, okay, we'll keep separate bank accounts for at least a year, right? Is that bad? Or should you just go straight into it? I don't know. I'm not very trusting. I feel like I would have been more trusting if I was younger, but this like whole hypergamy thing, when you're like getting older in life, is like, you know, you develop a little bit more sense. Also, okay, if you have a hypergamous relationship or marriage or whatever, do you just say like, okay, give me your credit card, or like, I'm not going to work anymore? Or do you just get pregnant and then you're like, no, I'm not going to work? But if you don't have children, when do you just become a stay-at-home girlfriend? Are they like, oh, you shouldn't work, honey, you should just stay at home? I'm very like nosy. I want to know how that works. Like, what is that conversation like? And how does your like family react to that? Say you've been like working or you've been at school your whole career. You know, is there any fears in that? I always like fantasize about like a man telling me like, you don't have to work anymore. But then I feel like I would be bored. But then I'd be not, because I'm gonna go to the spa, because I can lay in bed all day, like cook, clean, lay in bed, do a little shopping. I've had a great day. So I can't even say I wouldn't jump at the opportunity. But I'm always so curious about that. Also, another question. Say you did date a man that did not have a lot of money, right? You guys were together, whatever. And then he makes a lot of money or whatever the case may be. Is it like, do you still feel obligated to work while he's making the money? Or is it like a understanding like, okay, I've done enough. You make the money now. I'm going to stay at home and just like rest and focus on the family, or just like do an early retirement. I'm curious about that too, because you hear a lot of women say like, oh, you know, I built with my husband. And I feel like that's a taboo word to use in that hypergamy world. But yeah, I'm curious about that too. Like, how does that go? Does it feel natural to like, you know, just not work anymore? Do you wish that you did not help build that person up? This is what the look is giving right now. I don't know. A lot of questions. I'm curious. I'm not judgmental. Like, I don't know. I think the relationships with money in heterosexual relationships, just interesting. And I'm just watching it. It crashes one day and then it's back up top and everyone's like, yes, girl, you're living the dream. And then there's women who are like, I'm miserable staying at home all day and not having my own money. I feel trapped. And then they're like, no, I hate staying at home, but it's great not to work. So I'm always just thinking, the internet's an interesting place. And like the fact that people just share all the relationships, like ins and outs, quite fascinating. But this is the look. I might film another video since I'm kind of made up, even though I still have on this like raggedy shirt. But thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to y'all later.